Good morning, YouTube. It's Waylon with Busted Knuckle Rides. Today I'm going to go through and hopefully help you fix a little problem some of you may be running into with your 2024 and 2025 road glides, which I've come across on my 25 that I don't want to say is a problem, but a little workaround and how I'm going about doing it. So my issue has been finding usable and using a switched or a fixed 12 volt battery power on the bike. I know I went from my 2014 Street Glide and had lots of spots that I could just plug in accessories to the bike and have switched power. It was really nice. And when I went to my 2025, I started coming across areas where do I want to be non-intrusive with my wiring. I went to swap over from my 2014 to my 2025 Road Glide, my quad lock wireless charging for my cell phone on the bike. I'm just getting ready for a 18-day bike trip here in another few weeks away still till we head down to Sturgis. And I want to have charging on my bike for while we're riding. We're going to be tent camping, so I would like to be able to have all my stuff wired up and charging while I'm riding during the day. So for cell phones, cameras, all that kind of stuff. So stick around. I'm going to show you today how I found what I think is one of the better ways for wiring in our accessories for constant power and switched power on these bikes. So yeah, stick around, give a like, subscribe if you find the video useful, and I'll show you how I'm going to go through this. So when I first got looking for ways to wire this up and how to connect, I know some people have been going to their battery and throwing a fuse on it, and I did not want my anything to be able to drain my battery, so I need to find a switch power ignition with the ignition. So what I started looking at first was the two heated gear plugs that are located under the seat on the bike, and I decided against using those for my power for my phone chargers, just because where I live I'm probably going to want the heated gear. So here underneath the seat we have a 12-pin rear power and accessory plug, and that was where I chose because I do not have anything else I'm planning on using at this point to go into that. So the next step, what I did is I found out that connector is a MP150 connector from Molex. So I went on DigiKey and I found these female side of the connector, and they were pretty cheap. So I think they were only I don't know, $1.50 or something each. So ordered up a couple. They had fast shipping. It got here within, I don't know, a lot faster than I was expecting. So that's what I'm going to use to go in to get my switched power and my grounds for my accessories. All right, so on these connectors, not too much to them. Let's hopefully you can get a view with a good enough light going on here. I'll show you how to pins in. So I'm just going to take a little screwdriver, and I'm just going to right down the side pop this center retainer in for the pins. Take that, pop that out. Pretty simple. We don't need any special tools going on here. And put the first part up, take the second part, and I can slide this piece out. Now it holds all of, can't really see inside very well, but all of the pin locking tabs in. This is a sealed connector on the front and in the back as well. So what I have done is while I'm in here doing it, I don't want to do things twice. So off of this one, I'm going to run 2 sets of leads for switched power, and I decided at the last minute I'm going to put 1 set in here for 12 volt battery power, so power at all times. So I'll look at the pins. I will show you the pin numbers and show you the wiring diagram I'll add here on the screen in a moment to this. The other thing I'm going to use for this little project is I picked up just some of these waterproof connectors just off of Amazon. I think there was a pack of 4 or 5 for just a few dollars. So this is what I'm going to be attaching so that when I want to take off my tour pack, or if I need to unhook the phone or anything else that I'm going to be wiring on here. And when I said tour pack, it's because I've put a couple USB plugs in my tour pack so I can be charging while riding. So I'll show you that here in a moment, and we're going to start looking at getting some pins on here. So with these connectors, I was able to I put on the pins for going into the connector with a basic crimping tool, and I will give them I like everything to be soldered, so I'll give them just a touch of solder here in a few moments. But these connectors were cheap. Yeah, I think there was 4 of them for, I don't know, $5 or something like that, and they are a sealed weatherproof connector, along with the MP150s for a few dollars. Now, before I started this project, I looked at online, and I didn't see a lot of options. There was a few people making harnesses similar to this, but I wasn't paying the $50 plus shipping for something that I could make up in just a few minutes. So, okay, so I've started going in here, and I kept going. I thought, oh, I better get the video going, show you what I'm doing. So I've got my connectors onto the wire, and now I'm just inserting them into the MP150 plug. Now from here, I did have to, I'm wanting 3 leads off of here just for future use. So I have 2 of them that are going to be switched power, and 1 that's going to be a 12 volt constant power on these. So on this plug, we have 1 connection that is switched power, 2 connections that are constant power. So for me to want to put the opposite in, if you see on the back of the plug, what I did is where the wires go in, I did have to make a little bit more room just on this back retainer. I just used a small drill bit, made it a little bit larger to fit into the plug, and I was able to, I spliced in 2 of the wires onto the ground, because I have 3 grounds going in, and in the plug we only have 2, which we'll show you the diagram here in a bit. And I did that with my 2 switched 12 volt wires as well. And then the 12 volt constant will be on its own pins. Okay, so if you're putting in these together, just double check when you got everything together. I haven't put in the lock clip yet for the pins. Make sure they're pushed all the way in, and then we can the lock retainer, which just slides between each of the terminals and snaps them in and stops them from being pulled out. So when you're done, give them all a tug. Make sure nothing's able to come out, and that is it for the clip. I'll show you guys the diagrams on the screen. So first part done. Now on the bike side. Last, I went ahead and I pulled the tank off, the seat off, which actually I already had off. I removed my main power fuse out of the bike and got to this point. Now, I didn't show you removing the tank due to the fact that others on YouTube have already done some great videos on this, so thought I'd leave that to you. Once we get the tank off, we need to be able to run our wires through the wire or cable tray to get down to our connectors at our rear power and accessory. After, I'll take off my old quad lock and put the new one on. So first thing for removing this cable tray, we have a few little zap straps that we need to get cut off of here to open it up. There's a few that are gonna be on here. We'll replace them after when I go back together. So we're just gonna snip these ones off and get this cable tray opened up. So not too bad. It's not a high difficulty job by any means. Takes a little patience and finding out where all the connectors are. And if it's your first time removing your tank on the 24s, just remember we got these little clips for the vent line that tuck under the tank. So that was a little bit more Different than the older models that never had that. So seeing as it was my first time pulling off the tank on this one, I took my time getting it off, made sure I didn't have any damage to my vent lines or anything pinched when I did that. So I'll get the cover here off the tray. We have a few little clips on the sides, just like on the older models, that we can get either a little pick or a little screwdriver in and pop these out. So I'm just gonna grab some tools here and I'll get this top cover removed. All right, after you get the zap straps off, we got a couple little pieces of tape from the factory holding the top of the cable tray down, and a few zap straps can come along, and I've already popped out most of the clips. And we'll get the last couple here and lift off our cover for the cable tray. So this inside here is where I'm going to be running my wiring for my quad lock and accessory power up to the front. Run it down here underneath our gas tank to the power and accessory connector that I made earlier. So I'm going to remove my old phone holder, put the new one on, and get the wires run down here. So I've now installed the wireless quad lock charging unit where my old quad lock went. Actually, I have to say I really like the quad locks. I've had a few different phone mounts on different bikes, and quad lock's been definitely one of my my favorites to use. It just it works well, it holds the phone well. I know some people with iPhones say that they definitely recommend getting the vibration dampener for them. I've been using them for probably about the last 4 or 5 years, and I've never had any issues. But then again, I don't run iPhones. I just prefer the Androids. So once I got in here and I run my wire down through the back of the bars, all the way down through the cable tray, down to where I need it to go to be able to plug in here to the connector we made, I got myself thinking, and I'm always thinking ahead, and my bikes I never have plans of them staying the same for very long. So when I got in here, I decided to do another little add-on that I'm not going to be finishing today, but my plan for this coming winter is definitely to upgrade the stereo on the bike. I got a pretty good stereo system on the old 2014 that I never have to turn it more than about halfway up. I think I'm running about 1,000 watt amp in there, and got lots of power. But on the 2025, I was quite disappointed to hear the factory audio system that comes in them. I understand Harley's wanting to sell upgrades, but it's to the point where on the highway you can't even hear it. So I was pretty upset with that when I got it and thought they would have done better, but I was wrong. So so I don't have to pull the tank and pull the cable tray coming up in the fall when I run a new system in here. I decided while I had it all apart right now to put my wiring in for the amp, and so I got my power and ground for my amp, and I'm putting a remote wire through as well, just in case, so that later on I'm gonna have it tucked away, and then later on when I need it, it's already in there and I can just pull it forward and have it through the cable tray and not need to pull this all apart. So anyways, I'm gonna get the top of the tray back buttoned up here, and then I'll get the tank back on, and we'll look at the next steps of connecting it up and testing if it works. Okay, I got cable tray cover back on. I got my amp, power and ground, and remote wire just wound up, taped up, and put down in front of the battery for later on in the winter when we come back and get the upgrade on the sound system happening. So what I'm left with is my wire from my wireless quad lock. I've already built my connector down in here, the Molex connector with my ignition switched powers and my battery constant power off of my power and accessory connector. So really all I got left here is I got a wire from my small connectors coming off here, my individual ones, to my quad lock. So I'm going to get those soldered up and get the heat shrink on them, and test if it works. I guess that's what we're left with on this install. Okay, second one soldered up. I like to use these, I don't know, whatever you call them, third hand, helping hand. My hands get a little shaky and holds it still if I'm soldering over anything here. I put a cloth down beforehand and just in case I get any drips of solder on the bike, and I think we're looking good. All right, I got everything back together. Yeah, cable trays back in. I heated up and closed up the heat shrink over my solder joints. I think it looks pretty good. Everything sits nicely under the seat. One of my biggest pet peeves on a bike is you take off the seat and people have got more wires and crap going every which way. This is nice and clean, uses our factory power and accessory plug that's already here. And I got another extra plug here that I can plug the power in for my tour pack so that I can have my charging units in there as well. So got power up to the quad lock wireless charger, and I'm ready to start buttoning things back up. So I'm gonna take a few moments here while I have everything off. It's nice, it doesn't always come off, tank and whatnot, to give everything a good cleaning that I wouldn't normally get in normal detail. So I'm gonna give it a wipe down and yeah, we'll get it back together and fire it up. Okay, so the tank's back on. Pretty simple. Just watch out for the vent hose underneath. Make sure we don't pinch it and get it snapped back into the clips along the frame. There is 4 bolts holding the tank on, 2 at the very back, and then 2 up in the front onto the frame that are underneath these rubber covers. So once you have the bolts in, properly torqued down, snap our rubber covers back on, and then we can go to installing that center console. So that's the next piece to go on here. Okay, so now I'm just checking all the hoses. I don't have anything crossed or bent. Actually, as I'm looking at this, I think I'm going to make a little adjustment on my routing of the hoses and get them back in here how they should go. I got them crossed, so I'm just gonna switch them back around, plug my vent back in, make sure we got that on, everything's nice and straight, and center console pushes down with a little rubber ring right around the top of our filler neck. Get that on over straight, and we got one Torx bit in the back and 1 Allen key up in the front. So I'm gonna get them screwed in. Well, just about ready to pop in my main power fuse now, but I just thought I'd take a minute just in case anybody wasn't aware. On the side covers of our newer road glides and street glides, this flat black plastic on the bottom, there's a couple little clips on it, and you can remove it. So if you want an all gloss, all black finish on it, take it off. It's painted to match underneath. I don't like this because you get little bits of dirt in behind it, which will scuff and scratch the finished paint underneath. So I'm going to be removing the ones on this bike as I have it off right now. So anyways, I just thought I'd point out one more little feature with that. All right, we are pretty much all back together now. I just got the seat left to throw on, but we dropped my phone onto the quad lock, and we're gonna see here, do we have any charging happening? So we're just gonna fire the bike up and turn on an accessory, see if my phone lights up with wireless charging. And there we go, I got wireless charging. So it's pretty easy install. Did not take long to do. You know, it was definitely not a difficult one. Hardest part is pulling off the gas tank, getting the vent tube unclipped, and getting the electrical connector on the fuel pump. So
Other than that, wasn't bad at all. Didn't take too long and pretty easy for anybody. Really doesn't matter too much on your mechanical skills, as long as you can get the connectors in that pin properly and everything sealed and a proper connection on your wiring. It's not too bad. If you got any questions about how to do it or how it went, please drop a comment down below. I will put links to the connectors, the pins, and well, probably the quad lock as well if you're looking for a great phone mount and wireless charging to go along with it. So please, if you liked the video or you found it helpful at all, give a like and subscribe, and I'll keep making them as I build this bike. I wish I had made some videos on the build of the last one, but yeah, those days are done. So fresh bike here at 2025, and there will be lots happening to it. So stay tuned and have a great day.